Okay, we're gonna talk about the Monsey, Monsey, Hanukkah stabbing spree. Now, Rockland County, which is a little bit north of me, that area called Monsey. I actually did not know this until they said on the news. This county, in this area in Rockland County, has more Jews per capita than anywhere else in the country. That means that they have more Jews per capita than anywhere with the exception of Israel. And they said every Jew, this Jew, that Jew. There's a couple of dozen different denominations of Jew. And there's literally 1,000 denominations of Christian. So you got 1 billion Roman Catholics, and then you got 2 billion other guys divided by the other 1,000 plus religions sect of Christianity. Okay, that's Christianity, and then you got the Jews. The Jews are, I think the Jews are second to the Muslims. I could be wrong, but Judaism as a whole is older than Islam, older than Christianity. Let's remember that Jesus was a Jew. And they called Jesus Rabbi. Yes, Jesus was not called preacher. He was called Rabbi. Rabbi meaning teacher. He celebrated Passover. He didn't celebrate Christmas. Well, he celebrated his birthday, which was other than December, but Jesus was a Jew. So Judaism is one of the oldest religions in the world. It's not as old as Hinduism, but it's old. Okay, we have Jews dating back 1,000 years before Christ, if not more. Very old active religion. Now, Jews are the most discriminated against religion in the United States today. There are 10 times as many anti-Semitic actions as there are anti-Christian or anti-Islam actions. And when I say action, I don't mean you say you hate Jews. I mean you actively show you hate Jews, okay? And in New York City, which is supposed to be the World Harmony place, there was one anti-Semitic attack in New York City every day for like 3 or 4 months straight. Now, in theory, if I punch a guy in the face and he happens to be Jewish, that's assault, okay? If I punch him in the face because he is Jewish, that is a federal hate crime. Now, this individual, the attacker, got a machete, went to a house, and it is a good bet that he went to that area because every 5 feet is a Jew. So it was a good bet that he was going to find Jews. Also, this was during Hanukkah, and there were over 100 guests in the house. So you can figure it out, okay? He forced entry into the home, and he began a spree of attacks. People started throwing furniture at him to block him or obstruct him or try to get him out. He eventually fled and was arrested down in New York City, covered in blood. And that blood is obviously DNA sensitive, and it can be linked to the victims. Okay, so now this guy had a career of drugs, alcohol, drunk driving, killing a police animal, assault, okay? So he is not exactly a saint. And he was charged with first-degree burglary. Burglary meaning entering a place you do not belong, or the intent to commit another crime they're in. And no less than 5 counts of attempted murder. The bail, which is $5 million, he's not going to be able to post. He's going to stay in jail for a while. He ain't going to post a fucking bail like that. But on top of that, the federal court indicted him for many accounts of attempting to kill in order to obstruct religious practice. So that means you want to stop someone from practicing their religion, i.e. Hanukkah celebration, and you actually try to kill them to stop that celebration. Okay, so he's going to be looking at probably life without parole in state court, and then federal court on top of that. And because the federal court on top of that supersedes state court, the federal court can say, you're going to serve your sentence with us first. Federal court may say, go to state prison for life, no big deal. Or federal court may say, no, you're going to serve 30 years with us, and then you're going to go to the state court, state prison. But he's in a lot of trouble. He's not going anywhere for a while. You're probably not going to see him again unless he escapes. Okay? Now, they said it was a synagogue. And I first thought, oh God, it's a synagogue. No. According to Jewish faith, group of guys, I think it's more than 10. I could be wrong, I'm not a Jew, I don't know. If it's more than 10 guys, I think, that are gathered together somewhere, that is considered synagogue. Doesn't matter if it's in the back of a fucking porno theater. It's considered synagogue. In fact, I recall my FFL one time I was in his office, and he said, we got enough Jews here to open us to do a synagogue, which meant we can practice religion. Or he said, if there are any more Jews here, it'll be a synagogue, because he's a Jew, he can make the joke fine. Now, here's the thing. If you're in your own house, my question is, where's the gun? See, we can talk forever about, well, the law says I can't bring a gun here. The law says I can't bring a gun here. This is a gun-free zone. I need a special letter of approval, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're in a house. If you're in your own house, by law, you can keep a gun. Okay, you can have the gun slung over your body, like a rifle or shotgun. You can have the gun on your hip, on your shoulder, handgun, in plain view. Now, obviously, when we go outside in public, different story. If you are in public walking around with a fucking gun and unobstructed, someone's gonna think that you're menacing, or okay. But if you're in your own house, on your own property, you can carry a gun. And if you're afraid of nosy neighbors, then close the fucking blinds, okay? Are you going to someone else's house? Okay. Well, you can bring your gun to their house so long as they approve of it. There's no law against it, as long as they approve. Now, if you're going somewhere else or some other place like that, then we got a different story. But you can bring your gun to your friend's house if they say it's okay. And I even saw a picture a week later of Jews in that neighborhood walking around public with long guns. Yeah. And they had AR-15s. And one of them had a pistol grip, and one of them was modified for New York shit, but the pistol grip is tucked under a little bit, okay? So, where's the gun on your side? Because this was a big guy wielding a machete. And if I got a big guy wielding a machete, I would rather have a gun. Okay? Now, if you're on an airplane, if you're in a government building, okay, we have different stories for that, okay? But if you're in your house or your friend's house, where is the gun? Simple question. And Jews, you need to protect yourselves, okay? You are far more likely to be killed than I am, okay? We have 2 sitting members of Congress who are open anti-Semitics, to the point where they literally voice pleasure of Jewish suffering. One literally said she gets a calm feeling from the Holocaust. But obviously, because they're both Democrats, no one cares. Okay? We literally have politicians in this country that approve of violence against Jews. Sitting politicians. That ain't good. You need to be ready for the fight. And I have a friend of mine who was a Jew in high school. He was in his dormitory on 9/11, and he was supposed to hand deliver an application to a store that was in the World Trade Center. His alarm clock didn't go off. And his mother spent several hours thinking he was down there. Okay, his alarm clock didn't go off. And he told me, we were talking online a couple months ago, he told me that I'm paranoid. He said, I don't want to live my life afraid. And I'm like, you want to live your life afraid or you want to die? I'd much rather be paranoid and alive than not paranoid and dead. And this is a Jew. And a while ago, I talked about one of my followers who was an 11-year-old girl. Her mother, her grandmother, they follow me on social media. Okay, grandmother's phenomenal. She loves Trump. Yeah, the 11-year-old girl is a 30 Taekwondo black belt who has mastered several different weapon disciplines. Mastered. Okay, they're Jews. So I got an 11-year-old girl who was a Jew who was ready for the fight. Okay? And at the end of the spectrum, I got a grown man who's my age who is not ready for the fight. They've taken no self-defense classes. They have no weapons. They have no nothing. They want to go through life thinking nothing's gonna happen to them. I don't want to live life afraid. Okay. And then I see these three women, mother, daughter, granddaughter, and the granddaughter can do a high kick up to a grown man's jaw. So why is she ready and not you? Okay? I read a book, Gun Control in the Third Reich by Halbrook, Halbrook, I think. Gun Control in the Third Reich. And it talked about all the gun control that Hitler did. And 99% of it looks like American shit. Okay, first start with this, then move on to this, then move on to this, then move on to this, and move on to this, okay? You can't have this gun or you can't have this accessory, okay? You can't have a rifle with this capability, you can't have a pistol with that capability, okay? You need a good reason to get this license, you need a good reason to get that license. Gun control in the Third Reich. My grandfather, I talked about this many times. My grandfather had to liberate a Nazi death camp and had to exhume the bodies of the guys that they didn't get there in time for. Okay, this is real, my friends. And I heard a Jewish guy one time say, we will not go back into the ovens. It might have been one of the prime ministers of Israel. It might have been, who was it, Sharon? Okay, Sharon. It might have been him. But I heard a very, very high-ranking Jew one time, okay, say, we will not go back into the ovens. Okay. You don't want to go back into the ovens? Then what do you need to do to not go back into the ovens? And the question is, you need to defend yourselves. Okay, got a house full of people. I've heard there were over 100 guys in the house. I could be mistaken about that, but they said a bunch of guys in this rabbi's house. So a whole bunch of guys in this house practicing Hanukkah, and their weapons are furniture. Now, granted, I don't want to get hit with a chair. I don't want to get hit with a table. I don't want to get hit with a lamp. But isn't having another weapon on him better than having everybody's weapon? Isn't that better? You know, you say we will not go back into the ovens. Okay. Well, you better be prepared to not go back into the ovens. Okay? Because you look at Europe. Europe right now has more anti-Semitism than it did in the 30s. Okay? You can't walk 2 feet in Europe without seeing anti-Semitism. synagogue attacks and Jew attacks, and you can't go 2 feet. Okay? This is not a game. This is real. Okay? And all religious hatred is wrong. I don't care if you bomb a synagogue. I don't care if you bomb a mosque. It's still the same. It's still religious hate crime, and it's wrong. It is wrong. Okay? It's wrong. But it's real. And denying it's going on and walking around blissfully unprepared for life is not how to survive. Okay? You look at the church shooting. Okay? One guy comes in with a shotgun, another guy's there to shoot him. He was ready. Why won't you? Okay? And I've seen a lot of news specials where they got the rabbis down in New York City. I know a lot of rabbis in New York City are getting gun licenses for their synagogues, and they're carrying this and carrying that. Okay, good for them. Okay? The fight is here. You're either going to be prepared or you're not going to be prepared. And there's one guy who was hitting the skull with the machete. They don't know if he's going to live yet. Okay? If he does live, he's looking at paralysis. He's looking at loss of speech. He's looking at having a fucked up body the rest of his life. Okay? He's going to have major problems to the point where he may very well say, I wish I was dead. Okay? You need to be ready. Okay? If I see an 11-year-old girl who is more prepared for the fight than a grown adult man, okay? That's the issue. And she made a video a while ago. She said, I haven't had to defend myself yet, but I'm ready. Okay. Well, she's more ready than most guys are. Because if she's a 30 black belt in Taekwondo and she's mastering weapons, okay, and I got a grown-ass man my age who survived 9/11 who's saying he doesn't want to live afraid, okay, it's coming. Alright, thank you.